Je call, I fall. There's a legacy between us. We grow.
When you think of the Middle East, your first thought might be five-star airlines like Qatar's Q Suite or Emirates' Airbus A380. Abu Dhabi's Etihad is making a name for itself, a brand new terminal and the shiny new Airbus A350, which was meant to be on today until it got swapped out. The existing product is still pretty competitive, beautiful lampshade, plush seat and high-end food offerings. Welcome back to Abu Dhabi's brand new terminal. If you saw us on the last journey, then unfortunately our last flight from Dublin was meant to be the Airbus A350, and the product on board doesn't require you to step over anyone, but it's also very dated. And in today's video we're travelling on the 787-9 or 10, I can't remember, in their much newer business class product, and we're going to Singapore.
We go, but in the middle.
Before I even get to Etihad's very impressive new lounge, I must tell you about the new terminal. Given that the last time we were here, it was still under construction when I flew in on Qatar in business class and back out with low-cost carrier Pegasus, with those two flights worlds apart. Unfortunately at the time it was unclear when it would actually open and be in use. It was meant to open in 2019 and then for some reason sat for 5 years, with the government deciding they didn't want to keep pouring money into Etihad, which then shrunk slightly and became more boutique-y. Then there was a change of direction completely, and hence the return of their older planes. Etihad's stunning new lounge is over several levels, with the restaurant on the lowest level, quiet areas and the showers in the middle, and then a bar and buffet on the highest floor, as well as the entrance to the first class lounge. I was hoping to visit here on the return journey with Brent when we took the A380 over to London, but they wanted $1,100 for the upgrade and we were planning to sleep on what is a 6-hour route, so we said thank you, but no thank you. And I'm totally okay with that because their business class product, ignoring the 777, is still very good. And I nearly flew this 15 years ago to visit a friend in Australia, when the return fare in business class was about $1,860 US. As someone who had recently finished university, that was a lot of money, so I flew Qatar in economy for a quarter of the price. Maybe it's just the time I'm here, but this peach tea is delicious, and also it's extremely quiet, unlike the Turkish Airlines lounge, which was just absolutely rammed. And I guess this is because it's only 2100, with the peak period around midnight with a huge increase in transit passengers. Even so, there was a 10-minute wait for the shower, which is where we're heading next. I have to say, I don't think the staff here are forced or told to. They are genuinely really engaging and really happy, and not in a fake way. If I'm wrong, then I'll be a little gutted, but I do know of another airline that was known for being quite strict on its employees, and they slightly lived at fear of being dismissed. But let's move on before I get banned. That was really magical, but while I get ready, let's have a look at today's journey map. Echo Yankee 496 departs Abu Dhabi before the mad rush at 22:05, taking 7 hours and 30 minutes and covering a distance of 3,664 miles, arriving into Terminal 2 at Singapore's Changi Airport at 9:45 the next morning. My connection is pretty pleasant, with a dedicated fast-track lane for security checks for business or first class passengers, and I have 2 hours and 30 minutes between both flights. But time is disappearing pretty quick, so I best head to the gate. They really are milking the camel theme with the desert, and I love it. Please do try not to cheat, but I have a question for you, and that's how many humps does a camel have?
If you said one or two, congratulations, because the answer is actually a trick question. It's both. Some varieties have one and some varieties have two.
Unfortunately, the only view at gate Bravo 19 is of a Boeing 777-300, which could even be the very same plane I took from Dublin. All I have to stare at is the queue for business class and a set of double doors, which I ended up staring at for quite some time, because, like their competitor Qatar, they don't board at the time stated on the boarding card. 10 minutes later and we were finally allowed to board, so let's take a look at the seat map. Etihad operates the majority of its flights with the Boeing 787-9 variant, with 3 different layouts, one of which has the newest product. Today's plane is being operated by the larger 787-10 variant. Like the others, it's laid out in a 1-2-1 configuration over 8 rows, with my seat being in 12 Alpha. Any even number seat in Alpha or Kilo is close to the window, and therefore better for solo travellers, with Echo and Foxtrot closer together in the centre for those who don't mind the occasional chat, with the remaining seats being the second choice for solo travellers because they're closer to the aisle and fairly exposed.
Welcome aboard Etihad's 787-10 variant. It comes with seats with 22 inches of width and 75.7 inches of full-length bed.
I feel extremely lucky to have picked my seat at the right time, because the ones close to the aisle are just so exposed. Even if the seat probably could have done with a little bit more wall section, you're sort of overlooked by the person sitting opposite in row 11. This is pretty common with a business class seat. There's plenty of leg space, but it pinches towards the footwell because of the seat in front, before I'm quickly distracted by the very pretty and decorative wall lamp. Below the premium looking lamp is a small side table, which contains storage, the headphone port and a place to keep a water bottle. In front is more real estate with a small black table. It houses the in-flight entertainment controller and a separate panel for the seat functions, as well as some easy push buttons to make the seat exactly how you want it. Although somewhat pointless, airlines insist on putting hooks, and the push button control below the window will polarise the rear 2 windows, with the forwards one controlled unfortunately by the person in front, despite somewhat being in your space. While the remaining passengers board, the cabin crew are greeting each passenger individually and handing out a refreshing hot towel, as well as requesting the beauty that is the Middle Eastern lemon mint specialty, which is also available on Qatar and Gulf Air. It's sweet, slightly bitter at the same time, but wonderfully refreshing. The soft products are produced by Armani, we all know who they are, an exclusive made for Etihad featuring a luxurious petrol grey checkered pattern. I always thought this was a plush pillow in Etihad's livery, and actually it's the seat cover once it's unfolded, with the actual pillow in the same design style as the duvet as seen here on the Airbus A380. Etihad's amenity kit is sort of a teal grey leather zip case, and it contains, or at least it did at the time of filming, products from Espa, while they phase out the products from Aqua de Parma, who I actually prefer because of the beautiful yellow, which is more in keeping with the livery.
Flight. Your safety and wellness are our priority, so we appreciate your full attention as we take you through this demonstration.
Your seatbelt must be fastened whenever the seatbelt sign is illuminated. To fasten, insert the metal clip into the buckle. To adjust, pull on the strap. To unfasten, lift the metal flap and pull the belt apart.
I love that Qatar, Emirates and Etihad are always trying to better each other, which results in a much better passenger experience. This is a typical modern bathroom, but the elements of black in the tile panels with the yellow LED lighting make this a calming space. I'm just sad that I'm really looking forward to the morning when I can look out the window. Just make sure you keep it closed if the plane is on the ground, so you don't scare the people in the terminal. Etihad's in-flight entertainment system is called eBox and features an 18-inch touchscreen display that comes with these thoughtfully designed and pretty cool looking noise cancelling headphones, which I did find extremely comfortable for the 4 hours of use during the flight. The only Middle Eastern carrier that surprised me when it comes to content was Gulf Air, who strangely only had 15 movies, but on Etihad there is so much content you'll be fine for at least 4 flights, without having to make any major decisions. Naturally, there's all the latest Hollywood movies and plenty of TV shows, with a nice addition being the live news channels, for those who want to know what's happening in the world below. And the moving map is more than reasonable, but there are better versions now which are more interactive. Something I'd probably expect on their newer Airbus A350. The meal service starts off with a generous bowl of nuts, and then I also requested an English breakfast tea, with the real delight coming with the main meal, before diving straight into the menu to make some wise choices. There is a main meal section and then a secondary which you can choose from at any point during the flight, with the beef sandwich being particularly good. With 3 choices for the starter, the Arabic meze seemed like the best choice, with a selection of hot and cold Arabic appetizers, with the hummus being particularly beautiful and a choice of bread to go with. This also came with a colourful and tasty mixed salad and balsamic oil to dress. To be honest, I really enjoyed the hummus and the bakery item, but I didn't care so much for the rest. Still or sparkling water is optional, but this purple mystery is the butterfly pea soda. If you watched our Thai review, the petals of the butterfly pea flower create a rich blue, and with the magic of adding a lime, it creates this gorgeous purple colour. It's light and sweet, but there is no way I could describe the taste. For the main course, knowing I will ultimately have the beef sandwich later, I went for a healthy seared sea bass, with tom yum fried rice, a Thai mango salad, dressed with bok choy and toasted sesame seeds. Yes, it somewhat resembles a meatball, perhaps it got lost, but this extremely tasty dessert is a warm chocolate fondant with crunchy granola drizzled in a chocolate and hazelnut anglaise, otherwise known as a sauce. And yes, it was really good. Quite a few of the other passengers chose to fall asleep, which is such a reminder that not everyone connected off the same flights or destinations, or even routes. I was hoping to sleep off the jet lag over the next 24 hours, so to pass the time, I watched The Spy Who Dumped Me, while I also watched the sun slowly appear out the window. Due to the timings of the flight and the lack of lighting, I didn't manage to get a shot of what the seat looks like in the flat mode, so Brent kindly took this on the way back from Abu Dhabi to London. I'm happy to report that the seat is extremely comfortable for both side sleepers and those who like to lie on their back. With 2 hours remaining until Singapore, I flagged down a member of cabin crew, because despite not being overly hungry, there was no way I'm leaving without trying the steak sandwich, which uses tasty tenderloin with Emmental cheese and a juicy red onion chutney, and tastes as good as it sounds. It also comes with a small pot of potato crisps, and an orange juice and tea felt like a good way to avoid any consideration for food or drink on my long trek on the metro to my accommodation. Some of my fellow passengers had missed out on that delicious sandwich and were trying to squeeze in as much sleep as possible, despite the light in the cabin. There was one last opportunity to use the onboard bathroom, with hope on my side that I get a view on the left hand side of the plane of the iconic Marina Bay Sands as we land into Singapore. Camera skills aside, I know, I didn't quite get the view shot there right, but this is the view you should have seen when looking out the window. There was just enough time to be handed another refreshing hot towel, and my bad, I completely forgot to tell you about the very cosy slippers.
I was a little bit surprised because the window seats are normally more private, but because of the way they're staggered, it's not particularly, which means that you are sort of looked at from two directions. So actually the aisle seats are a little bit more private. As for the food, really enjoyed it. It's excellent, except for they sort of run out of the all-day stuff, which counts as the breakfast. So unfortunately, my option for the muesli just wasn't available. The beef sandwich was delicious. Cabin crew were wonderful throughout. Really enjoyed Sia being our cabin crew. She was smiley from start to finish, and I can't wait to travel with them again. Hoping first class, probably not, just can't afford it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching.
And if you're feeling really inspired but you want to spend a little less, we're trying out their economy product on the Boeing 787 and the Airbus A380 later in the year.